Hey everyone, welcome back. I thought I would take the opportunity to participate in the Jaclyn Hill Ride or Die tag because favorite videos are so fun to watch and so fun to make. There are a number of things in her tag that I just don't use at all, like liquid lipstick and false lashes. So I took the liberty of just skipping those and inserting products that are not part of the tag, but that are ride or die products for me. Why not? Just change things up a little bit. So, starting with skin products, my favorite primer is the MAC Skin Base, which is not too silicone-y, adds a little bit of brightness, and in my experience with foundations, it is helpful to use primers that are designed to work with your chosen foundation. So one of the reasons that I like Skin Base is that it works really well with my Ride or Die foundation, which is actually a combination of two things. I learned this tip from the girls at the MAC Pro store on Robson Street, and that is to mix together MAC Face and Body with MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. And the goodness of this is that the finish and lasting power of face and body is pretty good, but it's quite sheer. So adding a little bit of Pro Longwear Concealer adds a bit more coverage and it totally ups the lasting power. The finish is beautiful, it's not too matte, it's not too dewy, it lasts well on my very combination skin, and look how much you get. So I just really love it. In terms of concealer, I have two. I will not apologize for cheating. Actually, I have three, so I really am cheating. But the reason why I have three is that I don't just use one concealer for my whole face. For under my eyes, I used a combination of two products. I always use a corrector, and my ride or die is the Giorgio Armani Master Corrector in pink. It just cancels out the blue tones under my eyes. And then for over top of that, my favorite concealer that I've probably repurchased 6 or 7 times is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. It doesn't crease very much. Certainly setting it with powder eliminates that. The finish is beautiful, the coverage is beautiful, it's not drying at all, and it just looks wonderful. The other concealer is one that I use on blemishes. You can see it's well loved. I've been using this concealer literally since I was about 14 years old. It's just the best concealer ever for concealing imperfections, but I find it's a bit much for under the eye. It can be a little bit drying, so that's why I don't always use it under the eye. Sometimes I do just a little bit, like right in that dark shadow right there, like where it's here. Right there where it's the darkest. Sometimes I will use a little bit of it there, but I don't like to use it everywhere because it can make me look older than I am. So, ride or die concealers. Sorry, I didn't explain what that was. It is the MAC Studio Finish Concealer, and I use the color NW20. And the NARS concealer, I go back and forth between Chantilly and Vanilla, which are the two lightest shades. Powders. I'm gonna cheat again, and that's because I don't use the same powders under my eyes as I do on my face, and 2, I haven't yet found a face powder that I've loved consistently, like forever and ever and ever. The exception is the Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I love to use this to set my under eye concealer, and that's because it's completely invisible, very finely milled, and there's some brightening agents in it, which make it perfect for helping conceal under eye circles. For the face, I have the hardest time with powders in terms of finding one that controls oil, that doesn't look too powdery, that still looks good at the end of the day, because I have a terrible time with my foundation just looking cakey and gross on my chin. It's where my texture is. You can see that I have some, no. So I'm going to cheat and show you two powders that are the newest to my collection, so it may not be fair to call them ride or die, but they are my two favorites right now. One is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in number 1. It's got moisturizers in it, so it's not too mattifying, not too powdery, and it just gives this really nice soft focus effect to the skin. And it's probably my favorite that I've tried so far. I do like pressed powders because they're less messy than loose powders. I just have a terrible time with loose powders getting everywhere and looking too powdery. And with some powders, for some reason, I have an issue with like the skin appearing on the top of the powder. I had that issue with MAC Studio Sculpt powder. Haven't had that issue with Charlotte yet. And I do clean my brushes, so that's not the problem. It's hard to say. And this one is one that I've gotten reacquainted with just recently. This is the MAC Studio Fix Foundation, which is actually a powder foundation. I have the shade NW20. And this was actually the first serious makeup product that I ever owned. I tried a couple of things from the drugstore that just really didn't look good on me, and I had a good friend who was a professional esthetician who was older than me, and she recommended MAC. This was probably like in '97. So like her niece was a model and could get a discount, and so she got me these products because they were the best for acne, and I didn't look back. I used a combination of this foundation and this concealer, and only these two things, for close to 10 years. I only switched to liquid foundation maybe 5 years ago because I wanted more of that flawless finish. So I recently repurchased this for the first time in about a decade because I thought it would be really good to wear in the summer weather. It would be more sweat proof than liquids I was wearing. Then I figured on the weekends when I just wanted to throw something quick on my face, I wouldn't have to deal with a lot of fuss. And I've seen Pixie Woo use this as a setting powder instead of just a foundation, so over liquid, which I thought was interesting because they have dry skin, and it isn't for, like, it's quite mattifying. But I thought I would try, and oh my goodness, you guys, I tried this as a setting powder over liquid foundation, and my skin just looked so good. It looked so skin-like, not powder-like at all, and still by the end of the day, my chin looked good, which is a miracle. A miracle. So I haven't been using this again very long, but because I do have 10 years experience with it, I feel like it's okay for me to call this my ride or die powder. I've got a feeling I'll be using this a lot. Brow products. I use two, and again, it's not because I couldn't decide, it's because I actually use two products. One is the Anastasia Brow Wiz. This is the color, I kind of go back and forth with the colors. This one is soft brown. I use dark brown, like my hair has changed colors a lot recently, but taupe, dark brown, soft brown, they all work pretty well for me. I love it because it's got this nice fine tip, so I can sort of draw on the hairs, and because of the spoolie. I will not use a brow product that does not have a spoolie on the end. My other ride or die product for brows is the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. I resisted this product for a long time because who wants to spend $30 on brow gel? Like, it seems like a waste, but it's so good, you guys. Like, I use cheap brow gel, and I've used this, and this is like glue for your brows without being gross. Like, I have issues with my eyebrows looking different. Like, this one is very different from this one. And I can sort of coax them into looking the same with brow gel. I can sort of coax one arch into being a little bit higher. And with this brow gel, they'll actually stay in place. With a cheaper brow gel, that won't happen. So I always use my Brow Wiz, and I always use this together. There are two products that I always use together. One is the NARS Smudge-Proof Eyeshadow Base. One is MAC Painterly Paint Pot. They're fantastic. I've been repurchasing for years and years. Sometimes I just use MAC Painterly. It works fine on its own, unless there are like shadows that are really prone to creasing, like a cream or something like that, in which case I'll use this as well. Mascara. Mascara, my favorite is, and again it's two, not because I can't decide, but because I always layer my mascaras. One is the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Lashes Mascara. This is a sample size. The volumizing and the drama, it's just amazing. So it's expensive, but it's worth it. The other mascara is MAC Extended Play Giga Black. It adds this layer to all of my mascaras that helps keep it from smudging because it only washes off with warm water. And it's got this perfect tiny little brush for getting the lower lash line. Contour and bronzing powders. I like the Kevin Aquan, the sculpting powder in light. Perfect color, nice and cool, very pigmented, little goes a long way. And I love the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion bronzing powder. I think this one is in Honey, 10M. Very subtle, which is why I like it. I don't like I'm very fair, so bronzing powder can look kind of orange. This has like a barely there effect, so these two together are great. My favorite highlighter is the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance. Very subtle, very beautiful. It just looks so glowy. I can't really go too disco ball with, because of I'm not 22 years old anymore. It needs to be a bit more subtle than that, at least for every day. I'm wearing this right now. You can sort of see how it catches the light very nicely. Love it. Favorite eyeliner is any kind of gel eyeliner really, but I find the Bobbi Brown one smudges. I like gel liner because I can get a very precise fine line. So my favorite is the MAC Black Tracks Fluid Line, and I like to use the MAC 110 brush to get a very precise line. Favorite eyeshadow palette would be the the Charlotte Tilbury Vintage Vamp Quad. I have all of her quads, you guys. It's ridiculous. And this is my favorite. It's purple, red, gold, champagne. It is so beautiful, and I will link an eye of the day below. But her shadows are so pigmented, so buttery, expensive, but worth it. Lipsticks. I have two And this is cheating a little bit, but I chose two because I have one that I just love but wouldn't wear every day, and one that's perfect for every day. So I've got MAC Syrup, which is the perfect My Lips But Better shade, this beautiful pink that I can wear every day and it'll go with everything. My other favorite lipstick is the Charlotte Tilbury Velvet Underground. Look at that pink. It is just so beautiful and so gorgeous. I just wouldn't wear it every day because it's a bit loud, but for anything bold or dressy, it's the perfect lipstick. And I have to say, the Charlotte Tilbury's lipsticks are expensive, but they're probably the best formula I've ever tried. They're just so comfortable. This is the KSSING lipstick. Best lipstick ever. Last but not least, we will talk about blush. My favorite blush is the Charlotte Tilbury Love is the Drug Chic to Chic Swish and Pop. Chic to Chic Swish and Pop blush. It's a nice cool pink with some brighter pink in the middle and lighter pink on the edge, and mixed together. You know, if you use the outer shade to go up in your cheek like this, and the pop shade to just pop a little bit in the apple, it's so beautiful. And a cool tone blush is just always my favorite. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it helpful. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.